Welcome to Loving Life, a guide to a positive mindset. I'm your host, Lisa. I'm a mindset and energy coach, and each week you'll discover mindset shifts, energy practices, and real life tools to help you feel more confident, calm, and in flow, because you deserve to love the life you're creating. I'm so glad you're here with me. Let's get going on today's episode. Welcome back to Loving Life. Now, have you ever noticed that the habits we want to keep the most often seem to be the hardest ones to actually stick to? So I'm talking about the things that we have chosen for ourselves, not the things that someone has told us that we should do, but the things that we know will make us feel better. So maybe that's meditation, maybe it's journaling, going out for a walk, reading a few pages of a book before bed, anything that helps you feel a little bit more like yourself. But somehow they never seem to be a part of everyday life. We start with the best intentions. Maybe we manage a few days. Sometimes we'll even manage a week. But then life gets busy. Something unexpected comes up. We miss a day, and before we know it, the habit has slipped away. So today I want to explore why that happens, because I have got a feeling that this is going to resonate with probably everybody. But before we get into that, let's just see where in the world the podcast has been listened to in the last week. Which city had the highest number of downloads? So the highest amount of downloads was in Chicago, followed by Seattle, and then Minneapolis. So thank you so much, guys, if you are from any of those places. But as always, thank you wherever you're listening from. Now, I am recording this at almost 1 a.m. This is unheard of for me. And you know what? It's because I've been making the most of the weather. The lovely, lovely weather that we are having in the UK at the moment. And I know there's lots of extreme weather going on around the world at the moment, but I have actually been enjoying slowing down a little bit, especially after the last few busy weeks that I've had. This second heat wave, or next heat wave that we're experiencing, couldn't have come at a better time, to be honest with you. So yeah, I'm laid in my bed. I have actually, no judgment, but I've made myself an espresso martini. So I'm sat here with my espresso martini. I wouldn't normally, but it was in the fridge. It needed using up. I made a batch a couple of weeks ago, and it's the last little bit, and I'm going away tomorrow, so it really needed using up. So I thought, fuck it, why not? Let's lie in bed and record the episode. So here we are. Very bougie. So today's episode came from me actually giving myself a little telling off today. So I have been thinking lately, I have Reiki, I have belief coding, and I know how powerful both of these things are because I see the changes in my clients every week. Those tools are literally sat there waiting for me, and all I really need is 15 minutes. 15 minutes on my own self-development a day. So why aren't I doing it every day? So that was the little talk I had with myself earlier. And as I was floating around in my Lilo earlier, I actually belief coded not being consistent in a particular area of my business. And I actually sent out an email about this last night. So if you are on my email list, then you would have received that. If you're not, then make sure you're subscribed to receive emails from me, because, well, you're missing out on the chance to win cool prizes from me for a start, but it's the best way to keep up with everything that's going on. So if you enjoy this podcast, then make sure you sign up for the newsletter. I don't spam you, I promise. But anyway, that is not the main story of this episode. The main topic for this episode is why we struggle with certain habits. Like, I would love to dedicate 15 minutes to self-development a day. But with everything else, that is always going on. There just doesn't seem the time to do it regularly every day. Don't get me wrong, I obviously do the odd Reiki or belief coding session here and there. But if I was to make it a habit, oh my God, can you imagine the drastic improvement that I would see in my life? But let's be real. You're actually brilliant at habits. We all are. You brush your teeth, you feed the dog, you put the kettle on, you scroll Instagram, you check your emails, you worry, you overthink, you people please. Yes, those last three are habits too. You see, every new habit that we want to create is competing with an old one. So when you're trying to make meditation a habit, for example, you are competing against checking your phone, doing another load of washing, thinking about work, tidying the kitchen, feeling guilty about sitting down. Those behaviours, those habits have years of repetition behind them. So of course they're stronger. But you're never starting from zero. You are rewiring something that's already comfortable. Just let that sink in. Those things that we are competing with, they have become comfortable. Just have a sip of my espresso martini. Now, going a little bit deeper on that, the habits that actually change us, so the habits that we probably see as good habits that we want to instill, they are different. So not all habits feel equally threatening, because some good habits, ask very little of us. Drinking more water, for example, you just need to remember to do that. Take vitamins, again, you need to remember to do that. Meditation. Now we are entering somewhere interesting. Journaling, self-development, therapy, creativity, walking around without your phone. These aren't just actions. They are invitations asking you to slow down, to feel, to listen, and to change, to see yourself differently. And that is where your nervous system starts asking, hang on a minute, what is happening here? Is it safe to be doing this? Am I worthy of doing this? So here's my theory. Habits that, like good habits that we are going to get benefit from, they're always going to be tricky to form. But I truly believe that the ones that will help us most, they are going to be the hardest ones to crack. These are the things that we have decided help us. We have felt the benefit of them. We're not confused about whether they work or not. We know they're going to work. So take my example. I don't not find the time to regularly belief code myself because I don't believe in it. It's actually quite the opposite. It's because I do. If belief coding changes old beliefs that might help me become more successful, who might I become after? Like, what does that mean is going to change? Does that make sense? Do you see where I'm going? If meditation helps you hear yourself, what might you start to realize? It's that gap in between, or that end result, that where we are going, what we become it's not necessarily the habit we're avoiding. It's the version of ourselves waiting on the other side because it's unknown to us. So maybe you've been trying to get out for a walk every lunchtime, not because you want to get your steps in, but because you know you come back feeling calmer and clearer. But maybe slowing down for 20 minutes feels uncomfortable when you've always believed you should be working, achieving, or being productive. That calm version of you is unknown to you. Maybe you want to start journaling more. Maybe you've brought a beautiful notebook. You've got every intention of writing in it each morning. but every time you sit down, you suddenly remember 10 other things you should be doing. Or maybe journaling asks you to be honest with yourself, and that feels a little bit vulnerable. Maybe you've been trying to exercise more, but every time you put yourself first for an hour, a little voice whispers somewhere that you should be doing something for everyone else instead. Maybe you have always wanted to make time to try painting or crochet or learn to write, learn the guitar, whatever it is. But creativity asks us to make something imperfect. And you have probably spent years trying to get everything right. And that can feel surprisingly uncomfortable, knowing that the version of you that has to get things wrong in order to get things right. Setting boundaries. Maybe you've promised yourself that you will start saying no more often. But if somewhere underneath you've learnt that being liked keeps you safe, then every no is going to feel unrecognizable. It's going to feel much bigger than a simple word. Sometimes the reason a habit won't stick lives a little bit deeper in beliefs that we don't realize we're even carrying. Beliefs about whether we are allowed to rest or worthy of the time. If somewhere underneath you have learned that your worth comes from doing, then a habit built around simply being is always going to feel uncomfortable. You've spent years putting everybody else first, and so of course choosing yourself every morning or for that 1 hour feels unfamiliar. So the meditation gets skipped, the walk doesn't happen, the creative thing we love sits waiting. But there are sometimes traps that we often fall into when we are trying to form habits. And sometimes we can actually make this a lot easier for ourselves. So sometimes we feel like it's all or nothing. So, I've missed 3 days, I might as well wait until Monday. We'll start again on Monday. Or I've got a 30-minute meditation to do, but I've only got 5 minutes spare this morning. So we don't bother. Another trap we fall into is building the habit on shame. So we try to force it into place by being hard on ourselves, putting shame on ourselves. Right, I have to do this now. But you can't guilt yourself into feeling the way you want to feel, being the way you want to be. The habits that tend to last tend to be the ones that feel kind, not the ones where we're punishing ourselves into it. So I was having a conversation with a couple of my inner circle members on Monday in our accountability call, and this is actually another thing that sparked this topic today. But something I suggested, so one of my members is trying to form a habit of meditating every day or journaling every day, like having a good morning routine. And I actually told her to go easy on herself, like rather than trying to meditate and journal, just meditate. Or maybe rather than doing a 30-minute meditation, try 5 minutes to begin with. Like easing yourself into it makes it so much easier to stick to it. So something else that could make it easier for us to form a habit is to anchor it to something that you already do. So tie the new habit onto a habit that is already in place, something that you already do without even thinking about it. So after the kettle boils, before you check your phone at lunchtime, let the reliable habit that has stuck carry the new one. It's called habit stacking. It's like proven to be one of the easiest ways to form a habit. So if you've ever read Atomic Habits by James Clear, this is something that he suggests. So to anchor it to something you already do, to habit stack. And in the call that I told you about on Monday, the accountability call, another one of my members told me about something that she did. So I'm going to add this one in as well, is to make it obvious. So she wants to make a creative project a habit, or, make sure that she makes more time to do it. So she left her scrapbook out on the table. It's literally right there. And it's like a visual reminder that she wants to make time to do that. And then my final way to try and help making a habit easier is to drop the streak. So think of every day as a new start. Missing a day is not failure. It is just part of the process. Try not to get hung up on how many days in a row you've done it. Sometimes the habit isn't asking for more discipline. It might be asking for more compassion. So just go easy on yourself. Go easy on yourself when you are trying to form a habit. 5 minutes is okay. But also having compassion for those, that vulnerable side of you, that the version of you that will become once you do form the habit. That version of you needs compassion as well. So I hope this has resonated. If you've been calling yourself lazy, undisciplined, or someone who can't stick to things, maybe just let that go. Maybe show yourself a little bit more compassion. Nothing's gone wrong. Maybe these habits are just asking for a little more kindness from you. And that's okay. You're probably doing better than you think. Okay, if anything resonated today for you, please come and let me know. As always, you can email me, lisa@lisadavidge.co.uk. You can DM me on Instagram. But I love hearing your stories, and I love hearing what you take away from this. Before I go, I just want to say thank you to the people who purchased one of my morning journals after last week's episode. And actually that does tie in nicely to this week's episode, doesn't it? Because if you are able to create a habit of filling that out every morning, that is going to reduce your overwhelm, which is exactly why I designed it. Oh, and I tell you what, if you are looking for a 10-minute meditation, morning meditation, I have a free one of those. I've always got the link to all my free resources in the show notes, so go and check that out as well. So leave your journal out somewhere you're not going to forget, and I can't wait to hear the results. Okay, I'm off because, oh my goodness, this is the latest I've been up for a very long time. So I'm off to bed. I'm sending you so much love, and I will speak to you next week. Bye. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed this episode, I'd love it if you could take a moment to subscribe, rate, and if you're listening on Apple, as 95% of you do, review. It really helps the podcast reach more people who are ready to shift their mindset and raise their vibration. And if you know someone who would benefit from today's episode, feel free to share it with them. Until next time, keep loving life and know that I'm sending you so much love.